All right, quick note here, quick ramble. I was reading this morning more about the um, depression and anxiety epidemic in young people these days, and just thinking about how Jonathan Haidt and a few other psychologists have talked about this, and they primarily blame social media. They blame the internet, and I think they're right. But I think they're right in a way that they aren't really mentioning, which is the fragmenting effect that the internet has had on the delivery of art. So they're not really thinking about the role of art, and some of this problem started before the internet became the primary medium, before 2007, when the internet really started to become the primary medium by which people got their books and music. And the problem really, I think, comes back to, or there's an underestimated role that the popular art that teenagers are listening to and reading and seeing is just not that good. And it's not that good in a particular way. And I'm not talking about how, Greta Van Fleet sucks and stuff like that. I'm talking about how when I was a teenager, the stuff that we had available to us, whether it was from the 60s and 70s, whether it was the Doors or Jimi Hendrix or Pink Floyd or Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots, and Sarah McLachlan. All of that dealt, all of those people, even Led Zeppelin, okay, Led Zeppelin, in their own way, okay. All of that, all these records that I've got on the shelf here in front of me, the art just has a depth to it that I'm not seeing in what young people are listening to these days. And in particular, I'm talking about what Camille Paglia calls the chthonic aspect of our existence. In other words, the dirty, smelly, unpleasant aspects of life, and particularly our bodies, that can sneak up on you if you don't confront it. Okay? So, what was great about all the stuff that me and my friends would stay up until 2 in the morning watching, listening to, talking about, like The Wall, like Dark Side of the Moon, like The Celebration of the Lizard, is that it was disturbing, okay, and not disturbing in the sense of like a horror movie, but because that's cheap, just terrifying, grossing people out. That's cheap, and it doesn't deal with. It's not real in the way that a wet dream is real. It's not real in the way that the sort of the meeting of the gross and intimate aspects of people's bodies is meaningful. So, intimacy involves a certain amount of just disgusting stuff, whether that's disgusting feelings or disgusting bodily sensations or smells or whatever it is. And I'm not talking about it as well as Camille Paglia might, but that's that's something huge that's missing. And I think it's missing as a result of the sort of just paucity of good art that's willing to deal with that over the last 20 years. And so young people today, they don't confront that in what they're listening to. Because if they're listening to classic rock, they're listening to AC/DC, which is, what is it? Treading water in a sea of retarded sexuality. And that is a sort of a marketing thing. I think why certain groups like AC/DC are so popular. Again, it's superficial. It's surface level. It's more like a horror movie than an Edvard Munch painting. Whereas the Doors, Pink Floyd, this stuff that we used to listen to, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, fun, but when you leave, you're like, what was all that about? And you would talk to people about it and hang out at Denny's until 2 or 3 in the morning. And now teenagers are just not doing that. They're not leaving their houses. There's no unified presentation of what is good in terms of music and movies and books. There's no, there's no coming together of the radio and the MTV, making sure that everybody's seeing the same shows. I mean, it's boring when everybody is seeing the same things, but when nobody's watching the same things, then there's no unity, there's no social cohesion. And so the internet breaks people apart each into their own grottos, and everybody's isolated. And so if there are those kids at school who you can get together with and talk about, Talking Heads or whatever your favorite band is, you're not going to know them. They're not even going to talk to you. They're not going to know you're there. You're not going to know they're there. Because there's no going to school and saying, oh, did you see that thing that was on MTV last night? Wasn't that weird? Oh, wasn't that stupid? There's just everything is fragmented and everybody's isolated. And in their isolation and fragmentation, there's no common ground that anybody can have with each other. So when you confront these ideas of, the sort of dirty aspects of your own psychology, you need to be able to talk to people about it. You at least need to be able to sit there in a theater and watch The Wall or, in someone's basement at 2 a.m. and watch, a Cure concert video or something like that. And if you're not doing that, then you're alone. And why wouldn't you be depressed? Because that stuff's going to sneak up on you, and you're not going to know what to do with it. You're not talking to anybody about it. So there you go. The role of art and the fragmenting effects of the internet, making everybody miserable. So grab a friend and watch something good, listen to something good in a basement somewhere, maybe on the ground floor. My record player's right over there. So yeah, be depressed together is what I'm saying.